Final hour of the day. Welcome back to the close. Let's get a look at how things stand at this point. Nicely positive still for North American markets, about 0.5% for both the Dow and the NASDAQ. The S&P lagging ever so slightly, 0.38. Nice day at the bottom end of the board here for cryptos and crude oil with a bounce back day as well. Lots to discuss, guys. Newegg halting all over the place. We have some earnings names still in play today as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, whatever. Newegg on the move. I just said in the chat, I actually had to pay just now 8 cents a share for the locates because it opened up and there was that setup. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it opens up, it takes out 24. So I tried to take out 24, got to 04, and then flushed back into, you know what, the halt price at 21.50, and that's when it got supported. It is bouncing back into the upside. You're right, Sean. It's a bit of a roller coaster. I'm actually flat because Uber hasn't broken down, and I'm all the way out of that fastly trade, although that's breaking back towards that 40 level, so watch out for that. Newegg, I think if it takes out or tries to take that top again, I'll look to that 23.50. Just because I pay for shorts doesn't mean I have to use them, but I do kind of like the setup. No news here, just another one of these squeeze plays.
Yeah, crazy one there. Okay, yeah, guys, welcome back to now the fastest 60 minutes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed that we're coming back for you just that extra 15 minutes earlier to give you the true power hour experience, maybe. Okay, MVIS. We crushed it this morning. One of my top stocks for today for sure. Nicely done, but of the upside, we never got that 15 break. And well, we got it, but we weren't able to get out. So we're back in right now on the same level. I mean, what a gift this is to be back on the show right now and see this at that same level. Whether or not it breaks or not, could be a problem. I'm going to give it back here to about 50. I mean, the very bottom here is 35. So I think you can give it back to there a little bit here. It's not a heavy position because of the way we've come back in. Definitely much better on the morning when there's this volume here. Right now, I'm a little nervous because we come back on light volume. So not a heavy position, but a position that I don't mind putting some shares on is going to be Uber. And I think Uber, damn it, it just went back up. Like I was really thinking, and it was either way. I just thought today Uber, we saw it wasn't a great report. I do have it on the sticky note this morning for the long, and we did hit the long. It was really nice, man. $40.50 is that long. First out, $41.25. That's 75 cents, and then $42. So that's, top to bottom. That's $1.50 right there. Obviously, that's a mistake because it ripped all the way up. Welcome to my life here. But right now, I'm just thinking that we could take this break again if it does come to the downside, $42.90. Otherwise, maybe we are going back to the upside, $43.30 or so here. I'm going to, I don't know, I was debating shorting right here into that $43.30, but right now we're going to give me a little bit of time here. We'll think about what we're going to do here on Uber. Actually, this is not bad. Let's go short here into this number, into $43.20. So we'll give me a second on this one. I'm going to come back, call up a couple more different charts, 3 minutes and so on, see if we can get any love for that. But I do like Uber right here.
Yeah, I mean, I like it breaking down for sure. In terms of fading into Uber, I'm not sure about that one. But if it gets to 44, I kind of believe it. We talked about that 38 yesterday. It went right into that price range and bounced like an absolute champ. Bouncing, well, not really bouncing. Just running, I suppose, is BTBT. Anyone looking at that name? Big move obviously today and yesterday as well. Into that 14 level, you do remember, I think we talked about this, where it didn't quite get to that 14 price, like 13.50, 13.60 turnaround. And then there was a chance for an early break at that 13 quarter. I actually grabbed that to the long side, but like I said, it didn't hold out long enough because I was looking at that 14 level on the daily chart. And that's just the way that I trade. I look at that 14 level, think of it as a target, think you're going to get a secondary trade off of levels like that. So I didn't get the secondary trade, ended up breaking kind of messy when it broke 14, and then retraced, didn't come deep enough. I actually got to that 13.50 level, which I should have gone back to, but I was shooting 13.25 where we got into the long originally. So I got nothing on the second and third breakouts, but now we're sitting at 1640 high. You're consolidating at about 1575. It's a lower high that's already been put in. You got a couple of parabolic moves on this name. I'm kind of looking at this to the other side of the trade because I know I have the high of the day. So if I'm catching this off at 16, it makes sense to me for a risk reward. It could roll over right now, but I'm looking for the top end of this range. And of course, Newegg doesn't want to give me a shot to short it again. But just because I paid for the shorts doesn't mean I have to chase the shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we could pay for shorts here with Day Trade the World. We're actually very, very privileged to get as many locates as we do have on board. Okay, so here's Uber right now, and this I got a 20-minute chart here. If you see, this is 43.20 right here, like all the way, it's 43.40, but it goes back down here just a couple of days, 7:30, so that's July 30th, and then right here as well, 43.50 coming into play back on the 29th. So all during here, there are some levels that we can look at, that are 43.50 and so on. So I like that. I think we traveled up too high today. Look where we reach. I mean, we just 2 days ago, pre-market, 44.50. So that would have been nice to spot there earlier on that turnaround. But that's a 20-minute chart now for Uber. So based on that, I'm going to go short. I'm going to build the short into this level 43.30. If it does break 43.30, then we'll get out, and then I'll put on a much bigger short if we can get into this area. So what I want to do is take a short on a breakdown. So 42.90 or so on a breakdown. I think that's the price I put in. Yeah. So 42.90 on a breakdown right here. VWAP is whatever. It's right there. And then a short into 43.30. So there we go. So we start to, there we go. So we start to build position just as you hear me talk. So we are now short Uber 43.09. We'll take more in the 20s or in the high teens, and then we'll bust it out again for a small hit if we have to at 43.30 right here. And then once we get into this area, we'll look to put on a bigger short using 43.75 as our out. So we'll play around with it a bit. We'll try to average in, and then we do want to be part of this break to the downside here on Uber. And I always thought that they could release something today. Shout out to Trailer Park Boys. I thought it would be a really good business model if they sort of had, how they have Uber Eats, but what about Duber? Because then you could also, you know what I'm saying? You could get involved with this as well. Duber, sending out some joints every time you get into those cabs. Brendan?
Bubbles.
Thinking cap has been put on. FAA guys, Boeing shares a little bit active here this afternoon. There was two things of note. About 1:30, this came out. The FAA issued a new directive regarding the 737 MAX. Potential faulty switches named in that thing. And then Boeing also just announced they're going to spin off their venture capital arm. That was right at 3 o'clock when we came on. So it did spike up there a little bit on that news, about 50 cents or so. But pretty active here today for Boeing.
That is true. Apparently, you can get it delivered already, and why not? Get that good. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but there's certainly a lot of risk going into Virgin Galactic earnings or lack thereof. But obviously, you can see a nice move to the upside. I'm pulling back so you can see yesterday's action. Pop through 32.50, fail break. Lower high, even lower high, right at 32.10 or 32.11 or so, and then flush right back into that 30.50 area. Now we're basically barcoding off of those highs. We've broken that 32.10 a couple of times here, but really haven't even followed through to that higher low. So you might get the notion that I like the rollover trade. I already have BTBT on. I started at 78, so I'd like to be able to get more, but closer to that 16 price if I have to take a second entry. But Virgin Galactic, if this breaks down, I want this through 32. There's not a huge bid here, but the risk to reward, if this thing flushes, just considering that there might be a little bit of risk off going into that close, that's why I want to be on the south side of this trade. I'll get to Fastly in a second. It will be the trade of the day. Well, it is the trade of the day. We'll get to Fastly, but I'm all out of it, and it is pulling back. Now breaking that 40 level on Fastly after it caught a dead cat bounce.
Yeah, that was a great trade. Good hold, too, through that one. Okay, so someone's asking what price am I long MVIS? It should show on the bottom. It's right if it's showing 70. So that's where I'm long. So I am long MVIS at 70. And we talked about why, if you're just joining us late, I crushed it early on these same levels. We did get a better bid down here at 50. So it did break lower than that. So we'll wait to see what happens. I will put on another average in the same spot again, but again, this is not a huge spot. I mean, I will put on shares, but it needs to come down into this area, and then we'll use this as the dump off there if it is a problem. So that's what we're doing there. And then we just talked about Duber as well. So hopefully this can go to the downside, but who knows, man? If it can come down here, great. I'll put some bids just to maybe take a little bit of profit when it breaks or before it breaks, and then we'll have the short when it does break to the downside. So we'll wait for Uber on that one. And then the only other position I have on board is Ford. And actually, this is from the morning. And the reason why I held this, first of all, it's doing nothing all afternoon. Second, I don't really want to bid this VWAP spot because if we break, then I do think that maybe we could test 50 again. So that's the reason why we still have this on board, so I can sort of watch it and see if we get back down to 50. Otherwise, we're looking at so many names, sometimes we'll forget. But I do like Ford today off of a bad number from GM, not Ford's fault. So we don't want that one to get beat up as it's still going back up to the upside. What's up, Bren?
A couple other things moving around at this point. That ZY we were talking about this morning, just popping back up on volume. This one as well. BioCrest Pharmaceutical, they reported better than expected earnings this morning. This is a $2.8 billion company, so not super teeny tiny, but all-time highs just reached there on that last little spike. This was all pre-market, so as far as the session is concerned, at day highs here, guys, on a volume spike for BCRX.
All right. Yeah, so we'll have a look at that. I actually want to look at Newegg quickly here. I don't have the shorts, the pay for shorts there. I didn't bother to do it. I was actually just looking at a long only, a long break of 23.50, right? So if we can get that break there of 23.50, then I don't see any issues with this. So let's wait to see if that comes into play right now. 23.50 on NEG. I mean, that's a spot there. Obviously, a nice little boost up there. The volume came in and off that halt. So, I mean, you can use VWAP. I don't think it's really going to mean anything when you have a stock moving like this. So just note that whenever you get a stock that's kind of parabolic, you'll often hear Neil and I never talk about some of these key levels when you're talking about technically with lines, moving averages and things like that, because it's taking in consideration all the volume, right? So just look, I mean, it happens that this is at 21. So I think if I ever got long 23, I probably would use this as an out anyways. So that's a spot that you may want to look at. So that's that. And I want to look at another name here, Palantir. I get questions about why am I not looking at that anymore? It should be kind of obvious. It's not really moving, guys. So Palantir right now, a name that I want to look at, but again, not doing too much. We'll play it if it gets back down to 22, guys.
So I don't actually have a key for, I always got to find it because the new, I'll get the props anyways, but new position alert, and I don't really have the siren anymore, so I got to get that one in there. I have another key that's a new position alert for me. I did get that breakdown in Virgin Galactic when it broke 32. I just got like a 31.98, so it's not a huge path towards VWAP here. You're only really talking about 30 cents or so, but a scalp trade's a scalp trade, and we're not going to look any gift horses in the mouth. Like once it starts to go, it's just a pure breakdown. Instead of the morning show, like I wouldn't be surprised if there was a nice rollover in space towards the end of the day, but that didn't mean it had to be sitting at the high of the day, giving you an obvious consolidation and a stop to the top and a VWAP retracement style trade. It just happened to. Like this could have been maybe trending to the downside and you're taking a bottom break. It just happens to be a setup by like a heck of a lot more, so we'll go ahead and we'll take it. BTBT doesn't seem to want to give me an out though. That's the only thing. Like I'm sitting in this thing, thinking it's going to roll over. It's still clustering here. Obviously, a much stronger name, not just on the session, but if you look at the last couple of weeks or so, well, this last week and a half or so, BTBT is certainly stronger, of course, with crypto making their nice little comeback there, and Virgin Galactic having that risk of aftermarket action here with earnings. But the setup, I still like it. I'll take some out in front of this high. I guess this lower high, or sorry, support level that got put in around 15.25. That's that little turquoise line you can see, and then roll the rest. Like I said, look, you can pay for shorts all you want, and it might still be a decent one in Newegg, but missed the shot off of the high, right? So I'm not going to sit here and chase it. It hasn't really breached and held below that halt price, so it's not like it's falling off the proverbial cliff or anything like that. I said proverbial, but let's go with a higher time frame just so you can see this is starting a move off of actual support, and it's when you get these squeeze plays, oftentimes that first squeeze, pullback, 1570, parabolic, all the way back in. Like, look at that low. Like that, like this is a wipeout to like that 1570, then holding that same level and then breaking back out. I kind of feel like that's what people are looking for, and it's like, whatever. It's made a crazy bottom that we like for support. The second it's held, the next day we're just taking it long. I don't know. Maybe it seems that simple. It certainly looks that simple at times. Obviously, nothing really is that simple.
Yeah, nothing's that. I mean, all the time things look simple in hindsight, obviously. But look at AMC here. Like again, I looked and I was doing a little bit of studying here when we went off the air, and I took off some of the executions. And what I noticed was this volume spike right here, right, heading into that 29 break, right. And I mean, that was just a huge volume. I mean, we go from not doing a whole hell of a lot of volume here I mean, it was good on the way down, but it wasn't great. But then you get that big spike, just equivalent to basically the open. And, that's about 1 million shares there on that dump down through. And the thing is that that's what sort of got me back in. So at least I made that play. But I was just wondering, it held that 29 bottom so good, man. And I mean, if you look at a daily chart here, it's the same kind of thing. I mean, although we were using 31, 32 as bottoms, there you go today. It's actually going to be a green. AMC's up 10%. It was bad for a minute there, as you guys all know. And then it came right back to the upside. So you go from basically, yesterday's close, not a very good one, but look, I mean, I'm so glad I had the bid back up, but I should never got out in the first place. And it's just, yesterday we held this 29 so good. I should have given it to 28.50. Obviously, when we break 29, it's just too obvious of a level. And that's what I mean about going back and studying, your mistakes. Thank God I realized that in the same minute, right? And I bought right back. And then we took it for a $3 winner there, 32. So we make it back. We're positive on AMC. It's a good day. It's just in hindsight, I shouldn't have had that red tick there and then bought more and then taken it more for a ride, right? And then we get out on the top side. I'm pretty happy with all of the outs here, just in case 29.50 held. But again, you got to hold a little bit, and that was more than 10% there. So I did good on that. But just looking back, I think you can't even be this is my 20th year trading. You're always going to be able to find why did you do something? And I just think that looking back, area stops on AMC need to be a little bit wider, obviously, than nothing. So that's something that I learned here on AMC today. So, let it run when it goes, but you got to sort of protect the downside, but give it a little bit more space. So there we go. I just want to talk about that because it's a lesson learned. And by the way, here comes Uber right now to the downside. So we'll punch that out here as that's starting to move. You can see where we're short right here. We're short 09s. It's down to 93. I'm going to take this out right now for the win and then put another trade on if we do break here. So let's cash this in and then go short again if we break 90.
Yeah, I'm down with that breakdown. But I mean, you can't sit there with a good idea like Duber and then want to be short it because that's supposed to be positive. No, it's fine. It's all price action. I'm kidding. It's all price action here. BTBT is looking like it wants to break that 1529 level. We'll do Gates of Hell if it heads to the downside. I got Uber because I want the breakdown trade. Lots of ways to skin a cat. We're not actually skinning any cats around here. But I can tell you that I'm not saying the market is going down, but everything I happen to be looking at is retracing right now. I mean, it's just Newegg at VWAP. Virgin Galactic is now breaking VWAP. Uber is testing VWAP to the downside. The market's not doing much, so you got to play what moves. This is what we talk about here. You got to play what moves. We're now in the money about 40, 50 pennies on Virgin Galactic. Going into that, I want to hold this, hopefully, all the way down to 350 or so, because on an earnings play, this baby can move.
Yeah, great short there. I mean, we've got two shorts on right now. A good one there for Neil, and I'm pretty happy with mine too. Short here, short again. A couple bids just out there to sort of capture that profit because it broke before we could take the profit, right? So now we're down to 73 now. Great trade here for Uber. Let's see if it can continue to make moves to the downside, and we'll expand this just a little bit more here to see what we're talking about. So we do have. Oh no, we're right here. We do have some clusters here coming through, but that's not till 50. I think it's smart maybe to get out a little bit here on this trade right now for Uber. Again, just we're at that level. So, oh man, we just ripped back up to 70. Let's put a bid here, 70. Shoot, we might have missed that opportunity, guys. It does come all the way down to 75. And again, we have to be flat. So all these trades that Neil and I are making, even though it's Space Force, Virgin Galactic is reporting tomorrow. We can't hold overnight. So these aren't plays that we're thinking about, oh, this is going to be a great overnight hold or anything like that, or swing trade. We're getting flat at the end of the day. So that's something that obviously we have to consider. So I hope you guys are considering that as well when you look at the positions that we do have on board. And it's time to average into MVIS. So here we go. We're going to give this one last shot here. We're not going to give back what we made earlier on this name, but we're at that spot again. So this is why we take a small position so we can see it. Now we got to take a little more shares down here.
That's what you got to do here, guys. And I said I'd get to Fastly. It actually is reversing. So, I mean, you're going to see the stock, it's obviously to the upside. And spoiler alert, it was a long. That was the trade of the day. But it's still down that 10%. It was down 20 before. Just giving you an idea how far it came in. I actually never believed. And, I love the dead cat bounce idea. I know there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, it's going to 44, 45. I didn't think it might have had. I didn't think it was going to do that today. obviously, but it went to 42 and then just pulled back. But a lot of these names are, despite the strength, we're up 0.5% on the NASDAQ. I know the ES is up like a third, 0.3, something like that. But a lot of these names that have been pretty strong and are at the top just started rolling over at about the same time. I don't know if it's anecdotal, but that's what I'm happy to see here. If you are looking at that Newegg, I think it's still worth bearing mention. It is now looking relatively weak. So I said this in the morning show, like if I had chased this trade, I would have won. But that doesn't mean it's the right decision to have done that. So, if I chase it down to 22, I pay 8 cents for the short, and then you got a $1 winner on. But that's just not the way that I ever think you should operate, and I'm not going to operate that way either. I wanted it off of that high. I'm not going to get it. I do still want to reload on BTBT. So the fact that it's holding this 15.25, it consolidated and broke from here, and then dipped to this price and held. So if it bounces one more time, I'm looking for it to put in a higher low, and I should actually cancel this order to the offer. Because if it tests higher to 16, I kind of want to catch it on the way back down. Just sort of make sure if it's bouncing and kind of holding that support level that I'm getting some selling and getting a slowdown and then selling into that as opposed to just standing in front of a moving freight train. I mean, the last time it consolidated, it set up like it was going to do the same thing and then just broke back out. Now, it doesn't have as much time to do that because this was like a couple of hours, during the middle of the day when it had that consolidation. It's not like it has that much time here with only 40 minutes left until the close, but I want to be a little bit patient with this. Still working in the money here. I don't want to rush to be adding to the BTBT short when it's easily the strongest of the three in terms of how the price action that I'm fighting against here with the short trade.
And we'll do some of this because I don't know why this worked out so well, but good. MVIS, like there it is, man. There's the 56 punch, and then there's the acceleration to the upside, and then we cashing it out now, 68, 69s or so, just taking the profits. Like I said, this is Scalp City here in the afternoon, so we're going to take some of that out, half of it out actually right now for that win. So that was a good one. It's about 10 cents, which you're going to say is not that huge, but remember, we get paid to trade here by adding liquidity, so we have some videos out on that. Some order types will actually pay you a rebate, roughly $2 per 1,000 shares. So it's not huge, but again, this is kind of like just that trading, right? The scalping, the back and forth action that we're going to give you guys here live every single day. I mean, I'm going to hold for these tops, man, anyways, 1380, 1385, but just to let you know, my only offer right now is at 86. So 1386 just above this little tick here. So let's see if we can make that. Maybe I'll put a little bit, I'll put one in 80 as well. So we'll see if we can get going here. 75, 80, 85. Those are good targets for me on MVIS. If we could just get that going. I mean, we only have, I keep forgetting, we're 15 minutes earlier. So we still have 40 minutes. So maybe we can hold this for a little bit more. On that note, I do have a bid here on Uber. Hopefully that gets filled. It was just at unbelievable. It was at 76. We went to 76 and I didn't get filled down there. So there you go. We just talked about gateways. I should have used one that I have to pay for. Maybe a dark pool would have worked there. What's up, Brendan?
Another one from the volume list, guys, just popping back up here. Astra Space. Remember this morning, if you missed it, they signed their first launch contract with the Department of Defense and more specifically the U.S. Space Force. So the window for their launch, remember this is a satellite transportation company, so they're going to launch sausages into orbit, apparently. ASTR, though, coming back to the downside here, guys, right at $10.
I watched like one episode.
I meant to hit like a
Space
rocket in the air there, by the way. I don't know what happened with the sausage. Sorry, go ahead there, Neil.
I was going to say, I watched one episode of that Space Force. It was actually a really, really good show. I did get that. Waited for that reload. Got it. Now short at 88 on BTBT. There's the rocket ship, although I don't want Virgin Galactic to make a rocket ship to the upside because I am shorted. But I want to take a look at this ASTR because if it catches any kind of a bid here, you've already seen the breakdown. This is one that if it comes back up and holds $10 where it is right now and then gets back into that 1050 area, you could see a secondary rollover. And this is what I meant about being patient with that BTBT. Of the three things that I'm in, like I said, it was the strongest. There's a parabolic move in. The second it stalled out at 16, I get short more shares, actually added at 94. I still had some left over, so my average price will be at 88 now. But the add was at 94 when it turned off of 16 even. Now, because of the nature of this move, and just a tidbit, like I'm willing to look at that volume spike and see that move to the upside and say to myself, I don't want to give it to the wick. I want to give it to the lower high that it put in here at 1620. I'm willing to adjust my stop here. I understand how strong it's been. I've locked in some profit. At this point, it's sort of minimizing what could be some potential damage as this one gets very, very strong. Again, BTBT, it is a mover. Newegg is not doing a heck of a lot, but I do want to go back over to, it's not just Fastly, the other one from this morning, and there were a few names that got punked. And this one is barcoding, but Etsy was another name that was to the downside. It was a dead cat bounce and breakout trade. But this is much like Uber, setting up for a rollover through 185. Now, it's going to run out of time. Well, it might be running out of time to make this move here because this is not a stock. I mean, it's got a spread every now and then. The volume's really drying up. It's not a stock that I would want involved at 350 because with the liquidity that it has, even a really small imbalance will kind of skew your trade, especially if it hasn't moved a ton from here. But watching out for Etsy to see if it can hold this 185 range. That was kind of the target area that we had for our second out on the breakout here at 180. Now, we basically were saying once it got to 185, I like 185 to 187. If it breaks that price, I'd trail it. Ended up being like I gave away $1 on that trade because I was never really getting, I wasn't holding all the way back in here. I was looking for that initial push. Obviously, you could have bought that dip. So we'll lock in 180s to keep price on Etsy, although 185 could be a nice little breakdown if we can get it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we like Etsy. I mean, a lot of companies they're missing in that space, right? I talked about my love affair for Facebook. We can check on that one. Recent buy around that 350 mark, 361. So yes, sir, that's a good idea. And I'm going to keep on buying as many Facebook shares as I possibly can for a little while here. We rolled over some AMD money into Facebook, and we did talk about that. So I also did want to say to the moon as well with MVIS here, as that just continues to make some money. And this is what we do, man. Microvision today off earnings. Like, this is the thing. If we can keep doing this, like, this is what we're going to do. Like, we'll take a small spot there, and then we'll just load up when we get to our spot. And that's exactly what we did. And I think you got to be patient. And that's one thing that, again, with this experience and with doing the show for you and really looking back, trying to find winners, trying to hold things a little bit longer, you do realize that just because you're holding for winners, you can also hold and be patient to get into a spot as well. So I like that spot for MVIS. I mean, we absolutely destroyed it. It's my number one stock today, and we're just adding to it as we go. So that's a good one here. They just keep an eye on Uber here. But MVIS to the upside. You got something for us, Bren?
Was Penn National, guys, back to day highs once again. This is a big time level for this stock. 73, it's been up here 3 times now, trying to get through 10% on the day. Score, that means that score obviously is back to day highs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we said this in the morning too. Like that deal is 17 cash and 0.24 shares. So it's cash and stock. So Score is just going to follow Penn. So please, if you decide you want to trade Score for whatever reason, you really do need to be sitting there and staring at the Penn chart, understanding it's going to be a leader there. But we'll drop this one. I don't use it too often, but every now and then you get a nice little opportunity to. BTBT was strong. We talked about being patient for the reload. We were patient for the, come on. I know I typed New York once, but you got to be faster. We were patient for that reload, but it just made another sort of like, I guess, harsh drop back in that got bought immediately at 1560 here. Like the bid just flushed. Although I just saw something here, 150,000 shares. We'll see if it's still there when I actually flip here for you guys. Is it still there? Is it still there? Okay, so I saw about 150,000 shares on a 1560 bid. Is it fugazi? I have no idea, but I saw it flash for a quick little second. I got out here some of these shares, and I will not load back in. I mean, maybe it's a fake bid. I don't know, but this stock has been strong enough, let alone shorting and then thinking you're going to get a break of 150,000 share bid on a super strong stock. So I'll take some of this profit off. I'll still hold the rest. I'll stick with the tight stop. I just have to adjust it, of course, because I have fewer shares in. I still think it has a shot to get back down into closer to VWAP at least, sitting at 1480. This is one I don't really mind if I had to hold it towards the end of the day. Don't think the imbalances will matter too much, but I'm not letting this take out that higher low, and I'll be eyeballing that 1550 area because if that buyer is still there and legit, I might just take it out in front of that buyer and not have to fight this one.
Yeah, I like all that. I mean, I'm still looking here at MVIS, still trying to go, and then Uber's Whoops. Oh, whoa, wow. Okay, I almost tripped on my mouse there. I did want to say thank you to Internet Enforcers. I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about every day. And you put this message a little bit here. The trading action combined with the on-the-fly education. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. I know that might sound cheesy, but we are trying to show, why we're into positions. And it's unlike any other channel, in my opinion. We did research before, obviously, we came on and did this show for you. And there's a lot of other shows there that will just talk about, I'll look at Hood, Luis, don't worry. I'm already traded that today. It's my worst stock, and I'll talk to you about why. But anyways, the point about what I was getting at about education was just that if you can't understand why someone's getting in, I mean, there's other channels that have been taken off the air because they're just not like what we're doing here. And I just think that's the important thing, right? We're not just looking for these runners in the morning where everybody can pile onto and watch it go up, and then we get out when you guys are buying. Like, these are real trades, real stocks. We give you the free watch list. We're here for you. It's a free show, so hopefully you do like it. Let's check out Robinhood. Whoa, that's why. Okay, Luis, I see you. Yeah, look, we mentioned Robinhood today, and we talked about it. We had to hold, and it's right on here. Again, missed this trade, and it's unbelievable how good it would have been. It had to hold 58, right? So we see that. It made these notes this morning, right? 7:30, 8 o'clock. Look at this. It tried to hold 58. This is how good that short was. And then as soon as, I mean, whether or not this is holding 58 or not, I mean, that's pretty damn close. It looks like it was about 57.75 or so. The minute that breaks, man, now you're in a new area of concern. So now you have this area, but what a great trade that would have been on Hood. It's going to be very hard. I mean, I can call up a 3-minute chart here for you to look back at yesterday's trading, but yesterday was nuts. So very, very hard to sort of find some levels. That's that 58 that we talked about. There's no love in between, right? So you have some tops here, 55, and then when you get to the bottom here, 52.30. So the next breaking spot is like 52.50 here coming, and that'll probably come soon as well. Well, if you don't have people call buying and Kathy Wood buying 5 million shares, then you're not going to have the success that you did yesterday in Robinhood. Look at this thing, man. We can go back to a 1 minute. This is absolutely crash city here right now. Down to 53 and still going with picked up volume. Very, very interesting to see. We got to be on this name a little more, and I'll be on it tomorrow, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is, like, there was a lot of, like, put volume as well. It wasn't just, like, super call action causing, like, a gamma squeeze or anything. This is going to be a key level here, and I'm only pulling back to, like, when it went absolutely nuts, because I remember the dip buy here. For some reason, it's not going to show my trades. Like, right before we came on the show, I was so happy that I was actually seeing my previous trades on previous days, on Robinhood in particular. And then, of course, now you're not going to see it. But I remember in this pre-market, I got stopped out right here at that 52.40 level. This is 52.25. That's where we're getting to right now. I think it has a chance that maybe that's where it wants to dip. But I'm actually just seeing a bit of an offer here, trying to trail this one to the downside. If that trailed it all the way to 52 and then started to get filled, like, that would be a scalp trade. Like, if you had a support level down there, potential support level 52.40, and then a sort of like a following sell order coming down, getting filled, breaking it back to the upside, that's an entry to a long for a scalp that I'd be interested in, but I don't see that guy following it down. That could have been Fugaze. Size and level 2 doesn't have to be a thing always, but if you have a setup you like, the liquidity is there, it can cause a bit of a turn, but I would only use it if it's at 52.40 level, because this is getting absolutely crushed. I wish Virgin Galactic would have this follow through, and maybe I did look that gift horse in the mouth, but I did say, this is one that I wanted to see if it could have a bigger rollover going into the close, and of course reporting. So I want to give it a chance. Now it's consolidating here. It does give me the option to re-enter the trade. Get more shares in. I'm not actually out of the trade. Get more shares in around this 60 level. Maybe move a stop in around this 31.90, not give it all the way back to 32. So the longer we hold down here, maybe below VWAP, the more confident I get in that notion. I'm not saying it's going to come down to 30.50. I'm not holding this past the open or past the close and trying to get a monster flush. But I do think if we break VWAP here, at least a retest of 31.40, and then from there 31, certainly possible, although time is running out, and I must be flat at the end of the day, as Sean's mentioned.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, we all do. So just a good call on that one. If you're noticing that Neil and I, maybe trading a little faster now than maybe we would. I don't think we are, but that is just something that you have to understand, that we are flat at the end of the day. And thank you for all the kind words in the chat, guys. Again, so all right. President Biden right now speaking. So he's talking all about EVs and emissions and things like that. And so We know what that means for the biggest and the baddest, in my opinion anyways. There goes Ford, a nice little move to the upside, man. Ford's changed the game a little bit on their EV side. I mean, that's why I like the name. I've talked about EV names, and I like Ford, the F-150, the Lightning as well, all gonna be EV. So if the best truck becomes EV, then, I mean, I think that's a good move for them. A lot of people looking to change over to electric vehicles. So, oh, we have a cool thing here about being unplugged. Where is that? There it is here. So we'll get out of Ford soon, because that's a nice little bump. I have no idea what he's saying. But 13.78.79, we should take this, man. 14 cents. We should put that in our pocket and take that. Okay, so just one more trade here on Uber. Uber's already come down. We already took the profit on that. But there we go. Now we're averaging into it. So it's coming up to that level where we have to get out. So if we get a break here of 43.30 or so, we already have our stop order set up. So that's going to be a stop order trade for me to get out on Uber. But there we go, an average in. We cleaned it out there at the bottom, right? So that's a couple outs right at VWAP. We put an order at 76. And remember, we missed it. We missed it by 1 penny. So sometimes that's a big factor, because right now you're ripping to the upside. But there's another short. We're only going to give this to here because, again, a name that's been strong all day, we don't need to give back our profits. We already took, look in the morning. We took $1.50 here on this Uber trade. We can afford to lose 20 cents now if this does go back up. So that's what we're doing. We're going to play off some of this strength and try to go short into this 53.30 level. So that's my call for Uber. Let's see if it can work out.
Yeah, I'm getting out. I put mine at the quarter mark. I just want to be able to take that one off. I showed like a score there. We talked about Penn. I don't know if we covered Roku a little bit, but that one, and again, it's not to say that every single thing I'm looking at is breaking back down from the top. Meanwhile, the market, every time I check, is kind of holding up pretty nicely. But Roku, another name that had a dead cat bounce. Didn't have this one. I didn't have this one, but I mean, you know, it's the same. It's Etsy and Fastly were very similar to what happened to Roku. Like when I came in here, I'm missing one other one. There were 4 big names, and that was 3 of them here, that were down 10% or more, that are companies I think a lot of people liked. And if you like something and you think there's a value in, sometimes even though it's under a tremendous amount of pressure, you got to be able to pick it up. And the reason I learned that lesson was I'll never forget what happened in Teledoc, because I was saying to myself, this is going to be an opportunity. If they miss, it's going to be an opportunity to get into it. Flip, 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 flip. Gimme, 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 gimme. My 15-minute chart hates me. It was going to be an opportunity to get into it. I don't know if this is going to actually do this for me, but there was a monster flush, and I came in saying, you know, they're under so much pressure that I'm just going to short the pops, because if this thing gets to 145, it's going to be the out. But I was so convinced this was going to break 130, and I would get into this one on a flush and just buy it up and wait for that golden opportunity to get the greatest price ever, that I absolutely burned myself. Because I thought there was a dip buy if 130 broke, I convinced myself that I should just be shorting it, expecting it to go down. When no, if it actually holds up when it's down that much and then retakes a level like this, you got to get bullish on a stock like that. So I learned that lesson when you had this on Teledoc, and that's why I worked on Roku. I wish I had it. Worked on Etsy, worked on Fastly. You take a mistake where I'm shorting it all day long and losing a bunch, to then seeing the same setup and understanding, well, if it lost to the short side, and I like these companies better than Teledoc, those are going to work to the long side there. Roku was another example of it. That's a setup that I think we're going to be able to play off of, as long as they keep beating these stocks up for earnings, which, look, they might have guided poorly, but a lot of these names are actually beating on EPS, they're beating on revenue, and they're just missing a couple of metrics here and guiding poorly, and then going 2x to the downside what they probably should.
I mean, are we going to get Uber to come to the downside here, or what? We'll put another bid just in case it does fall. We got a nice price, but it's up to 26, so we'll see where it goes from here. That's just Uber. We've talked about that over and over again, and we'll just see where it goes. That's that trade. And I want to say a big congratulations. Congratulations to Daniel there. Good call on taking MVIS. You said you were short at 14.50 there. That's a good call from there. I mean, I wonder when you took it. Did you take it on some of these VWAP breaks, or did you average it and use 15 as a high? So that's something that would have been a little risky, in my opinion, to take a short in here. But if you took it on the way down, that's amazing. And now you're getting another bump right now. So we're feeling a little bit like Superman today. We're feeling a little bit like Superman today on MVIS, because a couple nice little bottom picks, and now we're in the money. Another 20 cents on this name, 16 cents on Ford. So let's just keep the party going here with the upside. And there's no party complete unless Brendan Wickens is there. So what's up, my man?
Wow, what an intro. ZY, guys, popping back up once again. More volume coming back in. Watch this high, 1450. This is the one, remember, ARC, Kathy Wood buying up this one apparently this morning. That's what caused this anyways. The halt from this morning. So trying to make a run here. 75% for ZY.
So, I mean, I'm sitting here with 0 executions on ZY, so I just make sure that, like, ZY goes down on the iPad. Please make sure you look at this tomorrow, Neil. After that halt, there was definitely a setup. Like, when I don't get that reopen setup to the short side, sometimes it gives you that breakout to the long side. That's exactly what happened here. But you got to look past that. You got to look to this 15 failed break that it's already put in, and then back to where this thing could go. Always go to the higher time frame look. And once you have that perspective, you talk about a gap fill. This 15, which has already failed a couple of times, I'm kind of hoping it doesn't break out today, because then you get a really good shot at the day trade tomorrow off of this level. Maybe even if it gaps downside, I dare say, and then holds like a 13. I would play it once. If it fails here at 15, it's actually moving into it right now. So it's moving into that 15 range. If it does want to make a fail here off of this high, like a failed break, get through 15, stall out. The current high is 15.46, so fail to break that and sort of come back down in. I'd make that play. Only 20 minutes to go. I wouldn't put that on the last 10 minutes, but the next 5 or 10, I think there's still time to see if it can't do a quick little snapback for a scalp trade.
Okay, just to let you guys, again, not to keep talking about Uber, but I changed my stop to 43.50 based on that 20-minute chart that we showed you earlier. It came so close to 43.35 there, and that would have been my stop out, so I didn't think that, you know, the price action there on the volume and on everything, that would have been a right play there to get out. So very similar to that AMC move that I talked about. We wicked up too many times here to 35. If it had just gone 1 or 2 more pennies, then I would have got stopped out, and now I'd be pretty upset. So that's kind of the stuff that you have to look at when you're considering these things, is like where are the wicks happening, and would you get wicked out? And what by wicked out we mean that, like, if it just prints, and the way our stop orders work, and I think that this is how most of them work, is you're gonna set them up for a price. So the minute that there's a tick here, and what I mean by that is a print on the time and sales, the minute that that's triggered, then my stop order is gonna get fired out, right? So like if that would have triggered 36, like 1 extra penny, could have been a dark pool, could have been anything, triggering that 1 extra penny, then I'm gonna get taken out of this position, right? So that's something that I didn't want. So I am gonna bump it up here to that 50 level that we talked about earlier. So I'm gonna wait for 43.50. If it happens, it happens, but if it doesn't, whatever, we will get stopped out. And then hopefully we can come back here to VWAP. I still think Uber, look, a great quarter. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But was it up 3.5% with Delta going crazy? I just don't like Uber right now. We'll see where it goes, but they need to get all those driverless vehicles out before I really think that this is going to be a great play. So let's wait for Uber. Let's kick it to the downside. I know we just talked a little bit more macro stuff there, but honestly, I just think that's a little too high based on the move today. We were all the way down here at 40. Look where I bought it, man. I bought it at 40.50. We're at 43 right now. So there is some runway to the downside here. It's Mr. Wickens again. What's up, my man?
New Relic. We talked about it yesterday, just popping up at day highs here, guys. A software company. They reported actually yesterday, but 2 days in a row, you can see recent highs once again. 4.8% here, day highs for NEWR.
Big time mover to the upside. Another one that just made a move. We just ran over this one. Well, it didn't run over. It just talked about this ZY as it got brought to us by Brendan. Thank you so much for reminding me. And like I said, probably should have been trading this one a little more actively today. But it does pop in. We said break 15. Failed to break the high, that 15.46. It touches the quarter mark. The second it touches that quarter mark, guys, all we're gonna do is just wait for that turn and then basically get right in on that little bit of a short trade, guys. We ended up getting 14.94, and I typed in the chat like this could have been, like this was maybe a bit of a trap, right? Because on the 15.25 break, ideally, I'm able to get like 15.10 or 15, something along those lines above that 15 mark. But it breaks 15. There's an immediate size offer on the offer there. So I'm like, oh yeah, jump in front of that. I'm chasing at 30 pennies, but you jump in front of it. I get 94s. It immediately starts going to the downside. I take some profit out because no one ever went broke taking a profit. And you should never look a gift horse in the mouth. That's a couple of things that I say over and over again, and there's a good reason why. Because much like BTBT, this is a super strong, I almost said stupid strong. Yeah, it's a stupid strong stock. You can see that trend. You're going against the trend, have an out, take profit. That's probably the only way you're going to survive doing it. Speaking of which, I got to go over to BTBT because that buyer is for real. They're just sitting there on the bid. We'll get out first and then worry about it later. Just to show you guys here, come on, level 2. Why didn't you go over from BTBT? But yeah, 150,000 shares at 1550. Remember I said that was there? And if he was real and taking fills, I would just cover the trade. Maybe it breaks this. It's 343. If it breaks this level, I'll look like an idiot when this thing is at like 1475 by the close. But take the profit and run. You're going to short against the trend anyways. If it's barcodes for the rest of the session, I was never getting more than like a 40-cent move anyways. So just take the 40 cents and run away BTBT. Now it can't be a loser. I can't be regretting the trade. ZY, which is also looking a little bit strong. I might have to do the same thing. No, there's no size on the bid here. But like I said, I don't necessarily want to be in this one going into the close. When 350 hits, I'd rather be flat, with the exception of Virgin Galactic, which I really don't mind. That's going to be in the money going into obviously reporting before they open tomorrow. Then I really don't mind hanging on to this. I got to be flat by 4 o'clock. But Virgin Galactic was the one short that I did want to hold on to a bit longer. Brendo?
I was just checking out McAfee, guys. Yeah, it's next week, the 10th, McAfee reports. But decent move here for cybersecurity names. This one, I mean, kind of in that group. Decent move, 4% today, but 3 days in a row, more importantly, that last high right there was all-time highs, if you can believe that, for McAfee, guys.
All right, rest in peace, John McAfee, of course. Now, nothing to do with McAfee now sold that venture. I remember when that happened, you know, when I apparently took his own life there in that jail cell, people were asking if that had anything to do with the stock. It doesn't. That's over with. He spun that out a hell of a long time ago. And now he's all about crypto. Now, look at this, guys. I got some love already today on the chat. Cardano, man, day high, 140. Man, we were buying this thing. You guys know, I mean, I'm long. It doesn't matter where I'm long. But the point is that these dip downs to $1, we actually bought last time. We dipped down to $1. I was thinking we could even break that, but we didn't. Very, very similar to Bitcoin. But this is different because this is up 40% now from where we were before. So watch out, man. I mean, these are daily charts. You can see a lot of positive days here without too many negatives at all. So watch out. Like when crypto starts to go, it starts to go. You can see there's a lot of momentum in some of these altcoins. So, you know, just get ready. I still think that we could break this 150 and you may be heading to 180 faster than some of you bulls even think. So get ready for a little Cardano run, I believe, is going to be on board hopefully very soon. MVIS is in the building. This is another 30-cent win right now. So like I said, feeling like Superman on this stock today. We bought the lows. We got out. There we go. Yeah, buddy. Let's go. Let's see if we can take a run at 14 now on this name. And then what a Superman hold for me on this was on Uber, guys. I talked about almost getting wicked out. I defined what wicked out was, what it meant to me, and now you're getting to the downside right here. So hopefully we can bring this one back in, man. We're short 43.05. I do have a bid out. Around 10 to get out of some, just because I feel lucky that we've come all the way back in. And then we have the imbalances coming in 3 minutes. So when the imbalances come out, if Uber's going to be a sell, then obviously we'll be expecting this to come to the downside, and then we'll probably get our love. Actually, my bid's at 07. I'm just going to leave it there for basically a flat trade. And then that's only for like 10% of the position. And then we'll hopefully get back down to the downside here, and we can cash out around VWAP. I mean, I still have my 76 bid, so hopefully that'll get filled as well as we come back down. Actually, I canceled. I put it to 77. So smart. We'll wait to see if that comes back down to the downside. So right now, Uber, and it's almost in balance time. So we got 3 minutes before we can check out what happens with those.
I hear you, 77. Just because we're Canadian doesn't mean that we have to get out of shares at key hockey players' numbers. But every now and then you're gonna be able to do it. You guys, I don't know, not a lot of hockey fans probably in the States. You're not gonna get that one. But we have to talk about NEUT. There was that story that Amazon held Nautilus shares at the end of the second quarter. This thing halted several times to the upside. It went from 720 up to 1250 and then gave it all right back. Look, if anyone's still in this, if you ever see this happen and just without pause, it comes all the way back, and the only support level is the initial move to the upside. And this is to the penny. This is literally to the penny. It halts at 840 and then all the way back, and the support is at 840. So needless to say, if you're still holding along in this thing, your stop probably would be at 840 in that particular situation. I just felt they're better and more liquid names to be trading. That ZY, our Virgin Galactic here, BTBT, which I'm now out of. But look, the only reason I look at those halt levels is because there's not a lot of historical pricing when it comes to these, and sometimes it's just as easy as that. People decide to buy at a line they see in a chart, and that's exactly what happened here. There's nothing else to it, and that's why it would have been support, and that's why it's going to break. Speaking of breaking to the downside, this ZY continues to head to the downside here. The only negative is that A, I didn't get any more shares on this little wick when it failed at 15 again, and then B, I was sitting on the bid sort of on the other side of 1450 thinking that would break and people might have stops at 1450 and then that would get me out when their stops triggered and then hit down 10 cents. Of course, it bounces off of 1450. I did not want to be in this one past 350, so if I have a chance to cover it around that 30-cent winner, I'll probably go ahead and do so, but I'll give it a minute. I have 1 minute here. I'll give it a minute just to see if I can get this one out. Virgin Galactic, though, I'm holding this one past that 350 mark. I'm willing to hold that into the close if I can. It's not an imbalance play or anything like that. It's just I thought there would be selling off going into earnings, and that's what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so MVIS, just an update on this one. We're going to get out if it breaks through 1375. So we've had this one for a nice run, and it's been a fun time, but it's not going to be a long time if it breaks to the high side. Sorry, it breaks to the low side. We'll get out of that one. So we're only 30 seconds away until the imbalances. Not much going to be affected for me. I mean, I only have these three positions. It's mainly, I'm not too worried about Ford. We tried to get out here when it started to turn, and I just kept offering. So right now I'm offering again at 72. We need a little bit of a bump up to get filled here at 72. I don't know if that's going to happen. So we're going to try that one. It's a small position, so it's not the end of the world, but it's still the long from the morning here at 1360. Yeah, here it comes. So we'll let this fly. Maybe it comes back upside with the imbalances, which you're going to hit in just a matter of seconds, and we'll show it to you live. Let me get it up for you. It's coming up right now. Here come the imbalances, and there it is. So PBR. Okay, let's go forward. Did I just get that print? Give me that print right now. We're at 72. It must be a bid there. I don't really see. Oh, there's Uber. Uber's a sell. Hell yeah. But it's going up. Damn it. Sorry. Oops. Wrong word there. Darn it. Uber going to the upside. We'll see if we can get out. If this can start to come down now. So Uber with a sell. It's exactly what we want. Now let's just hope the market rewards us with that downward move right now. What's up, Brendo?
We got some pretty big earnings last night and this morning, guys. There's more to come, obviously, tonight and before the open tomorrow. I just noticed, Sean, your DraftKings on this board today.
Yep. And you know what? DraftKings is going to get some love from Penn there today as well. So DraftKings up a nice 4% today. We'll see if it can continue the momentum. But remember, I don't love DraftKings. I'm still in it. I didn't clean out of that position the last time it was here at 52. We may do that tomorrow on some of those levels. Was there anything catching your attention there, Neil?
I mean, you might have guessed that Virgin Galactic could catch my attention. The sell and balance on that is 12,000 shares. So it's about as irrelevant to sell a balance as you can say. I got out of that ZY, but Plug Power, and I said this in the morning show. This is a put up or shut up situation for Plug Power. They're going to have to show you a little bit of something here because there's a heck of a lot of risk, and maybe like Virgin Galactic, this should have been one that I was looking for a rollover, thinking they might sell off or get risk off as well because so many of these high valuation, like zero low revenue companies that were super expensive that did so well in the run up at the end of the session, when they made these wipeout bottoms, got the consolidation, broke the 50 period. That's an entry point for a lot of people. And whether you had it here at 29 or at 30 or back here at 29 or 30, you're looking at this 25 level and it's like, okay, so I went long at 30 and just, I'm speculating. I'm not saying I went long at 30, but you got to think about other people here, right? Like they're long at that 30 range saying, do I really want to hold through a 25 break? And next thing you know, it could be cut in half because the support's down here at 17.50, that little wick, and then actual support could be down at $14 or $15. That's the kind of thing that happens when people start panicking and they look at a chart like this. Now that could be an opportunity, right? Like if the guys miss really, really bad, sure, pick it up in the teens. Take advantage of that if you happen to like the name. I probably will if I see a print like that. It's insane if it almost gets cut in half. But another one should be under a lot of pressure if they don't report at least something positive. Listen to that call, of course. I have one position left on. It's the one I said I would have. So it is Virgin Galactic. Caveat, I should always say this. I probably didn't say this at any point today. I actually own Virgin Galactic shares, and I actually want to go to space one day. But we trade price action. You don't trade your own book because that's kind of a dumb thing to do. When I say trade your own book, if you're long in a stock, like you shouldn't just only go long when you day trade. You shouldn't only just avoid the short or try to be bullish on it. You have to play the price action. If you think something's going to be a good value in 5 years, that doesn't mean it's a good value in 15 minutes or 1 hour or 1 week, right? So you got to be playing it that way. I'll probably give it to 355. If it doesn't break down towards this target at 31.15 or so, then I'll just get out at 31.50, bag a 50-cent profit. Like I always say, you got to take that profit. We're riding the bear train on Virgin Galactic. Watch out for those earnings. Watch out for 30 tomorrow if things don't go well.
Yeah, watch out below for a lot of those things coming through right now. I mean, Virgin Galactic could be one of those big time movers or a sour one. So we'll wait to see. Okay, I may just get out of this Uber, man. I mean, it's bouncing around. This is going to be a 10-cent hit, like Crimea River, basically, on that one. But I still think it's going to, I mean, what's going to happen is I'm going to get out and it's going to tank and I'm going to start throwing something. But I think that for now, this is probably pretty good. We'll hold a little bit in case it does come to the back to the downside. But this one's just not going to work out for us. And there goes MVIS out. So that's still a win, man. So we'll still go cash cow on that stock today, my best one. We really read that really well today. Just be very patient for it and got that. And congratulations to anybody that identified this short at 15. I know we had a viewer there, Daniel, I believe it was short at 14.50. So that was a good move there on most likely that break.
Hey, Sean,
right
what's
there.
that wick bottom in the morning there on MVIS?
Yeah, it's 35. 35.
35, 30. Okay, yeah. So, no, sorry, just to mean, like, I can call it up myself, but I mean, like, I can also just hear it and then note that as well. So some of those levels will matter. You saw how good of a bottom that was on MVIS. So kind of file that one away. Whether you traded it today or not, who cares? But no matter what you did today, you got to listen to Berendo. What do you got?
Just noticed this Weber, guys. We were talking about this briefly this morning. IPO from today, WEBR, wasn't terribly huge, but as far as pricing an IPO correctly goes, this is the kind of chart you want to see if you come to market as a company and your stock kind of tests lower, tests higher, and then settles in a range. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Decent volume on this one today, guys, for Weber barbecues.
Oh, and guess what? Uber, no profit, but I consider it a decent win here because we keep all of the money. No money goes flying out of our little barrel there on Uber because right now we're taking more and more profit. We're short at 43.19. Remember the average price was like, what, 05? So these are not profitable trades. It's going to look like it's a profit right now. But overall, we did make money this afternoon on Uber. A couple short. Like, look, I mean, we only have one short that's below that, right? So good outs, good outs here. If we get a little bit more of a dip, then we will take that for that big win on Uber. But hey, we're finishing the day at our highest spot. So when that happens, today was a good day, to quote Ice Cube. And hopefully you guys know who Ice Cube is. And if you don't, it tastes very nice in a refreshing lemonade. Do you know who Ice Cube is, Valeria? It is a rapper. Very good.
Dang,
Valeria,
that's what I'm talking about, Valeria.
Hitting the home run there. We were not sure. I don't know how popular Ice Cube is in Russia.
But you know the rest of that line from that song, Ice Cube didn't have to use his you know what, AK.
AK, right. You didn't have to use
Russian,
it.
whatever. You can make the connection.
Because today was a
good day.
Good day. So there we
wrong.
go. So yeah, welcome to me and Neil. Hopefully you won't have to hear us rapping too much more on the show, but I think it's pretty fun.
You can drop bars around.
Hopefully you enjoy. Yeah, I'm dropping bars. Like after this, I go into the cipher and I just kill it. So there you go. No, we don't do that. Okay, so it's been a good day, man. MVIS, and the one thing about it is, look at Mr. Robinhood, man, down to 50. Wow, what a great couple days for Robinhood. And then, I mean, cook up the profits, baby. Let's go, Mark Zuckerberg. You are now in the building with Facebook. I told everybody that report was pure gold, and it was. They should not have got hit down there. What a buying opportunity that was. Look, I'm in the money. I relocated some of the AMD money and other capital into Facebook, and now it's just upside. I think Facebook sees $400 before it maybe even sees $350 again. So if that's going to be my call, that's a good ratio right there. So watch out for Facebook. I hope a lot of you joined me on this trade as well. Facebook for the win, baby. Let's go.
And that ZY, by the way, that 1450, it did break and then headed downside. It got to about 1430, so starting to come back in, but holding highs. Virgin Galactic only have 3 minutes to go, so I'm still in the money. I wanted to see it flush. I'll give it right up until the 4 o'clock just to get a chance at a flush. If it doesn't want to go, I won't let it break VWAP on me. But speaking of breaking, Just one more to go with only 2 minutes to go. We're going to go to Brendan. But Cassava Sciences, late, thank you guys. Best community in the world because Sava was great for days in a row. And then for whatever reason, I wasn't looking at it today. 100 it just broke. So big move again on Cassava Sciences. There's no way this trade should have been missed. Look at that resistance. Look at it dip by right into support, pre-market lows, and previous day tops. What a setup that is. That's one that should not be missed, and it will not be again. Thank you guys for pointing out Sava. Brendo?
Just checking on one more earnings name here, guys. Finishing at day highs. We're very, very close to all-time highs here for pizza. Papa John's, 120.80. 120.80. Watch that for tomorrow, maybe. Papa John's near all-time highs after earnings, guys.
All right, you say that quote there. I got to find it out because we just said it. Me and Valeria looked at each other and went, pizza. So where is it? Where is he? Where is he? Is it this one? What is the pizza one? Let's see.
No, it's the.
Oh, I know which one it is. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll find it. It's me throwing the pizza to Neil, right?
It's this one, right?
Yeah, you have it if you have it.
That's the
Bang,
one.
there
You
it
see
is.
what's not on that pizza? You guys know what's not
It's
on
loaded with pineapple if you show it again, I think.
You know there's no pineapple on pizza.
No,
right?
no. It's not. There's no pineapple on
Right?
that pizza. I'm just playing
Yeah,
around
exactly.
with you. Yeah.
You're
you got-
Italian, Sean. You're Italian. You know no pineapple on pizza. You should be the one
It's
making the
not
case.
traditional.
Not me.
I'm just saying it's not a traditional.
But I'm not the
I
one that
like
should be
it.
making the case. It should be Sean
I think
making
it
the
tastes
case.
fine. I don't know. I'm only talking about, I'm not putting it on like a chicken parmesan or anything. But I think on a pizza, I think it's fine. But hey, to each their own. Everyone loved your pineapple shirt. I think that should come up. That should maybe be worn. Hey, it's Casual Friday, Neil. Just saying. That's tomorrow.
That's a good. Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
Is tomorrow Friday? Okay, Valeria's getting ready to ring that bell. It should be a good one. It was a good one today. The markets, I won't spoil it, but we are a green day despite not being in green. I thought the market would be down today, so like I said
ES
again,
is actually making
is a good
fresh
day.
highs on the day.
Yep, today is a good day,
That's
guys.
what I'm talking about. You didn't have to, whatever. You know how the line goes. Yeah, check out some Ice Cube. Why not? We got about 15 seconds to go. Ms. V is not in the green shirt. We save it for the days that we really, really need it. And the market didn't need it today, apparently. So that's why we're going to drop the countdown. Stick around for the trade of the day. But 5, 4, 3, 2, ring it, Ms. V.
And that is it. It is now 4 p.m., guys. What a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, we had a great, great show. We are obviously back now at 3 p.m. every single day. So if you missed us today at 3, we're back tomorrow at 3. Brendan, how did the markets wind up, my friend?
Nicely positive, guys, which means back to all-time highs. Once again, let's have a look here. 0.57 for the S&P, 0.62 for both the NASDAQ and the Dow. TSX here in Toronto, about 0.17 to the upside. Brazil flat. Everything else nicely higher as well. Crude oil, if you remember, 3.9% to the downside yesterday. So bounce back day there as well, guys. But yeah, nicely positive. Records across the board.
Figure it out, Brazil. I mean, that could have been a perfect board, and then Brazil has to,
He is breakdancing.
Oh, there you go. Maybe we'll dance for real when we start getting to 2000, which is what we should be. Unbelievable and fun show. We didn't hit that graphic once, Sean, which is kind of crazy. Lots of earnings still on tap. Virgin Galactic, of course, we'll be watching. We'll stick around for the trade of the day. It actually was a long, and the stock down 20%. And of course, that was Fastly. But an unbelievably fun day here, Sean. And how do you want to end things off here, buddy? What are you looking at?
I don't know. I just want to say congratulations to everyone watching the Olympics. I think it's been a good success. They wrap up this weekend. I don't want to spoil anything for Neil because, he's a huge track fan, yet it takes him days to watch this stuff. So we can't tell him what happened in any events. But we do know Andre DeGrasse won yesterday.
No,
so
don't tell me
we'll say,
anything.
Canada
Don't
for
spoil
that
it.
one. I know you already know that, right? So, all right, we are going to be going here to our trade of the day. It was a good one, so get ready for that. I did want to give a big thank you to the ones and twos. We wouldn't be able to do this show if it wasn't for Lucas and Maggie and Rob today. I also want to give a big thank you to Valeria, once again, crushing it on the chat. Thank you so much, Miss V, and a good call there on Ice Cube. Look, it's been a good one. Join us tomorrow. There's lots and lots of earnings. I know we're super excited about it. Let's get ready to watch some Virgin Galactic tomorrow as well. Thank you once again for joining us. For Neil, for Brendan, I'm Sean, and she's Miss V, working hard still. We will see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, 8:30. See ya.
See you guys.